Jumbo fellow adventurers, from a rainy night that just passed in Orlando, Florida, lots of humidity, to bright sunshine. It's amazing how quickly things can change for the better. Nothing wrong with rain, but when you're moving through clouds in your life, when you least expect it, total sunshine, rainbows await you. So it's always a matter of staying the course and enjoying what you already have where you already are. Today's tune up. Whoa. Great question was posed. If you have a question, put it below on Facebook or on Instagram. The question is, how do you protest in a spiritual sense? Do you protest in a spiritual sense? The questioner is very aware that where you focus your attention and energy, it expands. And if you're adding your attention and energy to conflict, to turmoil, to that which you don't like, it's not as simple as what one may have thought. This took a ton of introspection on my part. It is not cut and dry. I came up with 5 takeaways that may help you decide how to protest, if that's the word you want to use. But recognizing, I think it was Mother Teresa who said that if you don't like war, it's better to march in the name of peace than to march in the name of anti-war. So keep that in mind as I share these 5 points with you, so that you're focusing on what you want, not focusing on what you don't want, which is always going to slow you down. Although it's not so easy, because if we're talking about women's rights, we know what we want. If we're talking about what were my other examples? Animal rights, that's pretty clear. If we're talking about white privilege, talk about a buzzword. Talk about a pressure point. It's not so easy to focus on what you want when there is massive oppression all over and people dropping like flies because they've been murdered significantly based on the color of their skin. So how do you protest what you want there? Not so easy. I protest that everybody be treated the same. Yeah, while people are dropping like flies. You want to be a little bit more proactive if this is something that's really keeping you up at night. So here are my 5 things to walk this very tricky tightrope. Number 1, got to realize, not easy, but you're not supposed to do anything. Okay? We don't live in a world of supposed tos. We live in a world of, let me go there and see what happens. Let me go there and see how I am moved. Let me go there and see what kind of difference I can make. Supposed tos immediately create guilt. So you're all off the hook. Nobody's supposed to go out there in the name of anything if they don't want to. Number 2, it's got to be done peacefully. No matter what, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. There was a note from the universe that once said, if you ever have the option to lie or be lied to violate or to be violated, and then it had like 2 or 3 other similar toggle points. Always, always, always choose the latter. Now, if you have the option to violate or be violated, our society says that it's okay to use violence in self-defense. A spiritually attuned person would first recognize that they would never accidentally bump into a situation where those would be the only 2 choices. Earlier thoughts, beliefs, expectations, and behaviors of theirs might create a situation where suddenly you're faced with violate or be violated. But the enlightened soul would realize that no such crossroads would ever arrive in your life if there had not been earlier misunderstandings on your part. So Number one, the good news is you're not going to have that crossroads. Number two, if you do, always choose the latter, which there's tangents there. It's super complicated. I'm not going to go there right now. I know that can seem infuriating and self-denying, but let's just save that for a super advanced course at another time. Always remain peaceful. There is never, ever, ever a justification for violence. And look at the good that comes from peaceful demonstrations. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., those are the individuals who have moved literal mountains on planet Earth, and they did it peacefully. Number three, do what you are called to do and you feel in your heart. Okay, and this is going to be different from one person to the next. Are you supposed to go out there and protest the murders? There's no supposed to. What do you feel? Some will get their signs ready. Others will sit on the sidelines. Neither is wrong. You have to allow other people to do it their way and be moved as their heart, their instincts, their life, and their lessons has brought them to be moved. Okay? So, don't think, what am I supposed to do? Think, what am I called to do? What do I want to do? What feels right? How can I frame my protest, make my voice heard in the most positive, peaceful light? Granted, sometimes it's just going to be a protest against violence. In the case of, all the murders that we see on cell phones, white police officers killing black people. Not to say it doesn't happen in other color contexts. But we do have a phenomenon here that is impossible to deny. And number four, in your own way, be the change, be the difference. Not just out there waving banners, but if you have an opportunity to help a disadvantaged group, to create a charitable donation, to hire somebody in extreme need, to live your life in a way that creates more balance in the world around you. You have every right to do that, and it's the easiest way to do it in a way that will gradually get you in a place where you can have harmony in your heart, mind, and soul. So, in your own way, be the change, be the difference, beyond just or before being a protester. And number five, understand we don't live in a world of judgment from the divine. There is no judgment, okay? There are consequences to poor behavior. And the consequences are, what goes around comes around. And while karma is not an absolute law, if you believe, for example, that violence is sometimes okay, then you're going to meet other people who think violence is sometimes okay. And you're both going to have your justifications, and it's not going to go well. But there's no judgment, no divine judgment. Everybody is here as a spiritual being, learning of their power and the infinite possibilities before them to live in harmony, joy, peace, and love every day of their lives. And given that this is the case, given that this is the position of divine intelligence, it's one that we may take ourselves. I know that there are movements afoot right now that if you're not doing something every single day to right these wrongs, you're part of the problem. Not in my guidelines here. Don't judge others for their inaction. I know that hurts. I know that's hard. Just be the light yourself in a way you feel compelled to do it, focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want when that's possible, and it usually is. And love your life. Nothing can be more influential on the world around you than you finding joy, peace, happiness, harmony, and expressing love one day at a time, with or without protests. Okay, an easy question. Please, somebody give me an easy question. Write your questions below. And hey, we're just days away from launching the 21-day visualization project. The link is below. Swipe up on Instagram to my bio and click the link there. Join. You can join for a song. It's very, very, very cheap. It's like pennies a day. And for 21 days, I'm going to walk you through a guided visualization that's been particularly chosen in different realms of all of our lives so that you can see how to wisely define your end results. Get in a groove, 5-6 minutes every single day, and prepare to be astounded. Love from Orlando. Thank you, everybody. Ask your questions, and I'll see you tomorrow.